You can now import the iOS theme and the Google theme inside of your web application. Just look at this, how cool this is. And it even supports liquid glass. Just look at this. How cool is that? And you can have cards with the native theming, right? You can have badges with the native theming. And look at this, we have like native liquid glass support going on here. How cool is that? It even looks better on dark mode. Look at this. You have the cards, you have the checkboxes. It just looks like iOS and also Android. And then you have those beautiful animations here that, are common for Apple and liquid glass. So how do you set something up like this? You can use web native frameworks because there is a whole ecosystem about building mobile applications that look like mobile applications using web technology, and it's very popular amongst developers. So there's this beautiful theming system called Konsta UI that is fantastic for building mobile applications using web technology. And the best part about it is it now supports iOS 26 liquid glass kind of theme. Now, it's not using original liquid glass because it doesn't render native elements, but it's very good. It's very close. Just look at this. Look at this liquid glass animation here. Like, what? Look at this. They did this all with CSS. Now, this would take you years building it yourself, but you can just, with one line of code, import it. And it's super simple. So today I want to show you how you can use Konsta UI for the theming and Framework 7 for the app routing to make a beautiful mobile application that is not a native mobile application, even though it feels just like it. And when people say, hey, I'm building a web view-based application, it doesn't feel like it. The pages, the path, the routing, it just doesn't feel native. The UI part is solved by Konsta UI, but the feeling part can be solved by Framework 7, because look at this. Framework 7 also comes with functionality, but it also comes with transitions that are normal for iOS applications. So I have the circular transition here for page transitions. I have this cover transition that's also common for Apple. I have this cover transition. I have this transition, the fade transition, classic one, the parallax transition that Apple always has. So you have all of those, and then same thing for Android. You have also all the common Android ones inside of here with the Android theme. So let's get this set up because this is pretty exciting. So let's start by taking a look at their kitchen sink. So Konsta UI has this beautiful boilerplate here called the kitchen sink, which gives you a beautiful native starter project here. So let's get this set up. We need to clone this in Cursor. So first of all, you want to make sure that you have Cursor installed. So I already have Cursor installed. Let's open Cursor. Now inside of Cursor, I'm going to clone the repo. Now we can click on Clone Repo, and now I need to provide the GitHub repository URL. So now as you can see, if I go to the kitchen sink here for Konsta UI, for React, I can get the source code. You can copy this link here, GitHub repository, and we're just going to copy this link here from GitHub. I'm now going into Cursor, clone repo, paste this inside of here and enter. Now I'm going to go select as repository destination. I'm just going to create a new folder here. Let's call this Konsta/Framework 7. Framework 7. Let's create this project here. Set as destination for the repo. Okay, let's open git log. Perfect. We'll install the new version of Cursor later. And it seemed to fail to import this. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to then open a new project. We'll take the one that we just created. We did the Framework 7 one, Framework 7. There you go. I'm going to select the folder. Let's open the folder. And I'm just going to tell the agent to do it for me. Okay, let's copy this. And now I'm going to go back into Cursor and I'm going to say, clone this project. And I'm going to paste this one inside of here. I'm going to make sure that the browser is set to Google Chrome. Or actually, let's do the browser tab. No, the browser tab. Yeah, that's better. So we can preview what it's doing. That's a better choice. And then we just do agent mode. And actually, for this one, I want to do plan mode because I wanted to create a plan first to get better results, because it's kind of important that it doesn't one-to-one. So let's send this into Cursor. I really do like Cursor. You do have to install some stuff locally, but it's such a beautiful experience. It's way cheaper than Lovable, Replit, all of the other ones, and it's just going to do such a great job because it's not opinionated. All of the other ones, they always want to push you to use, JetCN UI, but I want to use Konsta UI. The React ecosystem is so beautiful. So why compromise and just use one if you can use all of them? The vast majority of React supported stuff. So now the agent is saying following. I can see you want to clone the Konsta UI React Kitchen Sink template. Before I create a plan, I need to clarify a few things. Do you want to clone just the kitchen sink? Yes. Yes, let's say A, the entire Konsta repository. No, just A, and import Konsta v5. That's the latest one. Following the docs. And then I'm going to go to their docs, and I'm just going to copy the documentation here. Oh, we got to go back to Konsta here. Let's go to Konsta. Let's go on documentation React. And I'm going to just copy this link for the React documentation. And then we also have a how to install Konsta guide. So I'm just going to attach both of them. I'm going to attach this, and I'm going to go and I'll take the installation guide, and I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to attach this one in here. And then I'm also going to go back into this here, install Konsta UI. Oh no, that's all part of this. Okay, that's fine. Roboto font. We'll assume you use React with Tailwind CSS. Usage with Ionic, usage. I will also add the usage in there just to make sure it has all the reference that it needs. And I'll keep this in the plan mode so it creates a comprehensive plan for this web native integration. There you go. And then, since we now have the native interface going on, we also want some native functionalities, and we want to possibly maybe even publish it to the Apple App Store. The easiest way to do that is using Despia, right? You can just go inside of Despia, you can link it with your web application project here, and then you can set your app icon, you can set your splash screen, your device support, you can even have it on VR devices if you want, set up your OneSignal integration, your RevenueCat integration, your Google Ad Mob, all that kind of stuff, right? Add all your add-ons like quick actions if you want, or biometric verification, background location tracking, screen shield, associated domains, deep linking, health kit, all that kind of stuff, right? And then even smart widgets, app clips, share into app. You can set up all those native features, super simple in Despia. And then with one click, you go on Publish App, you publish the project, click on here, and then it's on the store. Same for Android. It even automatically generates the key store for you, and you get full code export, so you're not being logged in. You can always export your entire code for iOS and Android and continue in Xcode. This makes the process so much easier because it automatically deploys it directly to the store. Now, you could use something like Capacitor, and Despia on how it works is very simple and very similar to Capacitor, but it's even more simpler. You can do most of the code, complex code, in just one line of code. It's optimized to be as token efficient as possible and as context saving as possible for most AI models. You have an easy to use NPM package, and we do the entire publishing and processing for you. Now, especially with Capacitor Ionic discontinuing AppFlow and their deployment functionalities, is going to be a very nice experience for people who just want the convenience of having the push of a button, having an abstracted version of doing web native development. Of course, if you want full power yourself, you might as well just go into Swift and build your own WebView framework. But if you want something that's pre-built, supports all major native functionalities out of the box without having to rely on community plugins, fork them, maintain them, set up your own CI/CD pipeline, Despia is probably what you're looking for, because it's cheaper than, setting up your own CI/CD pipeline. If you go with CapGo and all those Capacitor plugins to get your own custom pipeline going, it's sometimes easy to spend like $200 or something a year on that. And then for over-the-air updates, you pay for monthly active users. With Despia, you don't pay for that because you provide your own hosting for it that you can then just load from the start URL, or you can locally bundle in, and then you can use silent push to update the folder that will be loaded for the offline version. So you can switch between hybrid and local, which you would normally need to have certain paid Capacitor plugins to get that going. So it's an one-size-fits-all solution, kind of like everything that you can ever imagine that your application would need. Despia gives you in a very simple-to-use interface. And there is a VS Code and cursor extension coming soon. But let's go back to this. So now it created the entire workflow. So let's start building this here, right? So now it's going to build the application, and it will follow that process. And this can take a little bit. What I do like about Cursor is, let's just add this to the allow list. What I do like about Cursor is that it really is unopinionated. So it does a really good job at following custom instructions, where if I would put this prompt into Lovable, we would get something absolutely looking ridiculous and not native at all. So it's very nice that we get this beautiful interface here to import stuff, and then we can also import Despia for the native functionalities. We can bundle it in, we can add some native features. So it's really cool what we can do here. And then we'll be able to preview this right inside of here. So it is almost like lovable. There's no reason anymore, I would say, to use anything that is not Cursor or local tool, because with those local tools, they become so easy. You can even select elements and look at the console. So they're really stepping up their game. It's not complicated anymore using local tools that will then run certain stuff in there. So it's really, really simple. Really simple. Description, Despia native SDK. It's interesting. How did it figure out that I'm trying to add the Despia native SDK? Even though it's using the wrong one, it should use Despia native, but there was an issue in publishing it to GitHub initially, and it was removed, but it sometimes takes 30 days or 60 days, I think, for NPM to blacklist packages that have been removed. So I think it's reading my local files, and it's seeing that I have the old version of the Despia SDK. You shouldn't have that problem, because it probably doesn't know that it exists, but I do have them locally on my computer. But how cool is that? It's now building the application, and I get all of this now locally, this whole agentic workflow. So now it's also setting up framework 7. So this will obviously take a little bit. So we'll make a cut, and we'll take a look at how this looks once it's done. So now it should have deployed everything successfully, or it did not deploy it yet, but it built it successfully. So let's say, deploy it locally and open it in localhost. Deploy it locally and open it in localhost. There you go. So now it's going to plan the next steps. And then once we have this ready, we need to host it somewhere. So I want to also walk you through how to host it. It's becoming so simple nowadays to host this kind of stuff. If you build stuff locally, you don't need to pay a, 300% markup or 1,000% markup for those tools to run it in the browser. Running things locally has become so easy. So now it does have some issues in doing all of that. So now it's taking a screenshot. It's doing all those things that Lovable and all of the other ones would do, just probably way better and cheaper. You see, it creates a screenshot, and it's now feeding this back into the AI model to resolve the issue. So local tools, I'm really surprised how good they're getting, especially Cursor and also VS Code with Cloud Code and all that kind of stuff. So it's really interesting to see. So is it still working on it? Did it fix it? Or now we still get that. So let's say we have 3 files here attached. It seems to be still working, but I don't see a response coming back. Let's say continue. Oh, it's cute. So it's still processing. Maybe there's like some network stuff going on. Yeah, let's remove this. Okay, yeah, it took a little bit to scrape the image. So as you can see, it's now thinking. Thank you for the comprehensive summary. I can see we've successfully current status. Let's try reload this. No, but I still get this issue. Let's say I still get a bug opening it. Okay? So let's send this. Let's also try opening localhost here in the browser. Copy localhost. Okay. Let's try opening that in the browser. No, it still does not work with localhost. So let's actually close all the tabs here that we don't need. There you go. I don't need that. I don't need the lovable one. We're not using lovable, so we don't need that. But I can now go to cursor here, and let's see what cursor is saying. Now, it does do a screenshot, and it does plan all the kind of stuff, which is pretty nice. So we'll just wait. And now it's resolving. Chat context summarized. I've seen that we ran. Take a screenshot. I'll take a screenshot. It takes a screenshot again. Pretty cool. And the React isn't mounting properly. Shows very minimal content, which suggests there might be a rendering issue. So it captures that again. Very interesting how it resolves the issues itself. Very cool that this is a local tool that's primarily made for developers or people who are more developers compared to people who use Lovable. But very cool, very professional tools, right? We have this clone GitHub repository task here. We have the setup guide. And then we can connect this with GitHub and actually get this deployed easily. So now it's looking for the files here, as you can see. It's now taking a screenshot again. So it really does the whole debugging process for you. So cursor went a long way. I remember I used it, I would say over a year ago or more than a year ago. But when it was very new and it was like still like this dark blue theme. And I was like, oh, I don't know if this is like, it made lots of mistakes and, but now it's really good. It's really good. And it's, I would say, probably better than all of the other web-based ones. Even though that's a hot topic, and I know I'm going to anger some people by saying that, but it is really darn good. And they do have light mode now, so I do like that as well. I'm a light mode person. See, it does a screenshot, and it does now some deep debugging. And you see, like, there's always a new error of what's breaking, and it just goes through those errors and automatically resolves them, which is quite genius. So after this, we're going to have a native application set up there. So how cool is that? It's going to have this native Swift UI theme, and then we can implement custom UIs. It has all the components in the kitchen sink, right? It's a great starter project. So pretty cool. It's going to feel nice, and it's going to look and behave nice. So now it's thinking again, and it's, looking at everything again. Now this may take a little bit. The agent is doing its work. We can just let it leave here. It just keeps working until it's fixed, right? I'll go get myself a coffee if it doesn't take, if it doesn't go too fast, and then we'll be back and take a look at if this works. So now our cursor agent is actually in a loop. It's been doing this whole thing, taking a screenshot and trying to fix it for the entire time. So what do we do now? How do we get out of this? We're just going to stop it, right? And we're going to into ask mode. Why does it fail? Okay, I'm just going to ask it a question. Now, I just wanted to take a look at it without trying to resolve the issue, because sometimes there are issues that it can't resolve. Maybe there's some manual command needed to be called in the command line, and then sometimes those agents can get stuck and just run through your credits like crazy. So now it's looking at everything. So we'll see what's happening with this here, because we do get build errors, and it seems that there are issues in importing certain modules from the package. So let's see. It seems like, oh, I found the issue. The project is missing critical configuration files for Tailwind CSS. That could be the issue. It also couldn't be, because it seems like there is an issue with Framework 7 based on the error message here. But, we'll see. And it looks like Konsta React, that there may be some import module issues. I'm also going to just copy this page here, and I'm also going to paste this into the mode here, and I'm going to schedule this message, so we can also just have it consider that. So it's now going to, it just was sent, or it's going to be sent once it's done. The framework package is not installed. So framework 7 icons are causing the issue, and it looks like icons. Yes, camera, fill, arrow up, circle. So sometimes it's a little icon that messes up everything for you. So now it created the solution. Now I'm going to go into the plan. Let's say create a plan to fix it. It's very important. We don't want it to just randomly do stuff without having it be documented in proper files, because otherwise it's going to just shoot us in the back later on during the development process. So with that being said, it's now creating this plan file here for fixing this. And now that we have it created, I can just go and build the plan. Now we're going to go into the build mode, and now the agent will be building the plan. There you go. So now it's implementing the plan, and we'll see if this resolves the situation here. Because, yeah, actually, you see it's an icon issue. It just has an issue importing the icons here. And now it fixed it. And now we have an iOS application in iOS and Material UI style inside of a web application. Like, what? Is that cool? That's amazing. Look at this. You got like liquid glass going on here. You got a Isn't that cool? What, like, isn't that cool? That's so much better than Lovable. I shouldn't say that because I got lots of, I don't want to anger all the Lovable viewers here, but what? This is nice. Like dark mode, and like look at that. Look at this liquid glass feeling. Ah, that's nice. Look at this. It even looks nicer in dark mode. Like, look at this. You got the chips. You got the contact list. Like, look at this. Isn't that nice? You got the nav bar. You got the, like, look at this. Look at this. You got the medium, you got the big ones. You can just toggle through them. Now my computer is slow because like the AI agent is running, and then it's like rather resource intensive. That's why I'm like at 2 frames per second, but runs very well. Maybe we should close some files here to make it also performant so the video isn't too buggy for you. I do apologize for that. MacBook Airs are not made for this. I need to get it Pro. But look at this. How cool is that? So now that we have this set up here, we can build an entire application with it. Now, I'm not going to build an entire application in this video. This is just the setup, but I want to get some native features in there. So let's set this up. And it also like looks stunning and just amazing. And this is deployed on our own localhost here. But what we want to do is we want to get some native features going. And I want to deploy it to Netlify, which is the best way to deploy stuff at all. So now let's go to npm.despia.com, and we're just going to go into this custom prompt here. We'll copy this custom prompt, and I'm going to go into cursor, and now I'm going to say, add this as a custom reference slash system prompt slash instruction. Okay? And then I'm going to say, I want you to create a demo app using the components slash theme we have for all major native features from the Despia native npm package. From the Despia native npm package. Skip, actually for RevenueCat, for the RevenueCat Paywall, my offering is called default, because the app I'm going to deploy this just for illustrational purposes already has a default offering. I'm going to send this to cursor, and now the agent is going to set up Despia, and it will do all the integrations for this. Now this will take a little bit, so we're just going to See, it's now implementing this. Actually, we did not do a plan for it, but I don't think we need to do a plan. So now, as you can see, this is a beautiful thing. And this is why I love Cursor. You see how it's now opening the Despia sitemap in here. It's scraping all the links that are on here, the master prompt, all the native features. You see how it gets the data in here and how it scrapes the text from here. Now, after it scraped the text, it's going to visit those pages. It's going to read exactly how to implement the native feature from Despia. So it works with the Despia SDK and the runtime, and it will then implement this functionality. So we can do one click, deploy to the App Store, one click, deploy to the Google Play Store, and we got our phone running our own application on the physical device and not a simulator that just tells you wrong things. So now this will take a little bit. It's planning the next moves and can take a little bit. So we'll make a cut and we'll take a look at how this looks once it's done. So while it's still working, I want to show you how great it does the implementation. Just look at this. It now created this to-do list. It installed the Despia NPM package, but it's now going literally on the Despia website, taking screenshots of it, copying text on there fully autonomously. Look at this. It goes now to the safe area page. It makes a screenshot. It reads what's on the page. It scrapes it. And it then takes this context to implement it one-to-one. This is why we now have npm.despia.com as a page for documentation for those modules, so they can implement it precisely and accurately. Very, very cool. Take a look at this. It now builds the entire application. It sets up all the native features. As far as I can see, they do look correct. So do they look correct? Despia demo page? We'll see if they are correct. If not, we'll need to tell it to just do a network request to the pages and then get the prompts from there. But we'll see. This should look great. Let's see. Oh yeah, it does go to the pages. Yeah, if you look at this here, it does go to the correct pages. Hopefully it scrapes them correctly and it has no issue scraping them. We do allow the AI to go just to the network request and kind of like get it from the page, like as raw HTML. But we'll also add the Despia MCP server to make this way simpler for those AI models like Cursor and Lovable. We just need a little bit more time for it, like a week or two, and we'll have it. We'll make a separate video about it. But I just wanted to show generally how it works with Konsta UI, how great of a system that is. And Despia is kind of like just the cherry on the top to show that it already works nice together. It's just getting the information into the AI model will be easier on how to implement it once you have the MCP, definitely, right? But let's see. Perfect, no errors. Wonderful. Sleeping for 3 seconds. He needs to take a break. Now let me navigate to the local server. Fantastic. We'll take a little bit. See if the page loads successfully. We just got a white page, so let's take a look at the console here. It seems like there's an issue with the console. What's going on here? So we'll see what's happening with that. Maybe there's some invalid import statements. It's the icons again. Look at this. It's the icons. It's always the icons. It's always the icons. Now it's navigating to localhost again, waiting a little bit. Let's try again. Yeah, we still have the icon issue. So what I'm going to do is we're going to be in an infinite loop. I'm just going to send this error message into it from the console to kind of like speed things up. Let's see, now it's going to plan the steps because this will tell it exactly what's going on. It'll include the line where the issue is happening and all that kind of stuff. So we'll be fine with that. I can see the issue, several of Framework 7's icons I'm trying to import don't exist. Yeah, you always have the issue. It always tries to import icons that don't exist. They need to have an MCP server for icons so it gets it correct. Maybe we should build one for them. Maybe we should. Maybe we should. We should include that into the Despia MCP. Framework 7 icon MCP. I think that'll be great. Now it does emojis. This will look awful. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, we'll see. I don't like it. I'd rather have no icons than emojis, but okay. Yeah, still looks nice though. Still looks nice. I have no idea where my demo stuff is though. Okay, now it looks a little bit more off. Doesn't look too liquid glassy, but it does have the native features, so I do think we're good. For annual sale premium for default, the paywall will work, and we do have haptic feedback, biometric verification. Now, your question will be probably the same as my question. What happened to the beautiful UI? We need to ask their AI to understand what happened to the AI. Perfect, the app loads is in the list. Let's say, why does slash, this is the homepage, look stunning with the new UI from Konsta and slash Despia demo absolutely different slash, in my opinion, ugly. Can we use the UI components from the slash page to in the Despia, let me position this again here, in the Despia demo page, Despia. Okay. And I think it's stuck because I'm starting to get some memory issues here. Let's make sure to copy this prompt so we don't lose it. And I'm going to stop what this AI is doing. And now we're back. Look at this, how beautiful my camera now is again. And let's send this into the ask mode because I wanted to look at it a little bit more carefully. And now it's taking a look at it. Because, I mean, it does look native, but it does kind of like look like iOS 14. Which is not the vibe that we're going for. We're going for 26 liquid glass. Ah, I see the issue. What's the issue? Okay, it says, I see the issue. The homepage slash looks much better because it uses Konsta UI's build-in styling properly, while the Despia demo page has a lot of custom inline styles and manual layout that conflicts with Konsta's design system. Yeah, always use a design system. Okay, key differences. Homepage looks good, uses list strong inset, which gives the beautiful rounded chord-like appearance. Uses navbar large transparent center title. Uses plain list without strong inset props. Has custom blue background on navbar. Okay, want to change. Let's say every UI you always build should follow the Konsta theme on Flash. Add this to the memory and then fix it. So I want to add this to the memory so it remembers it for future generations when we try to add new features, try to add new UI, try to add new stuff in here. Let's try this again. There you go. I don't have a VPN, so I will be fine. VPN, please check your request. What the heck is going on here? Every UI, I want you to fix it. It worked before, and I do not have a VPN, so what's going on here? I think I need to fix this on my end. Or maybe it's like this iCloud privacy relay thing that always goes into between stuff. Let's see. Seems like I got some stuff to fix here on my end before we continue. Let me just do that. Yeah, it was like this iCloud privacy relay that automatically just always turns on because I'm an iCloud Plus member. So it just, I don't know, it just always turns it on. I don't want it though. So there you go. Now it builds the page, sets up everything. It should look beautiful now without this ugly theming. let's see, share URL. The Despia commands that it uses are not the correct ones. This is critical. Shouldn't happen. But I found that AI sometimes just makes them up, and you need to be very explicit to it and say, no, don't make stuff up. Only use the ones that are available to you. But again, the Despia MCP will solve this issue. But for now, we have to solve it manually ourselves. So you're in ask mode, switch to agent mode, let's say. Nice. Also, you are not following the Despia docs. You cannot just make up Despia calls like random anything, like random : // You need to use the preset ones, do a network request via HTTP to, okay, now get the Despia sitemap URL. This is where it can scrape all the information. So we have this here in the prompt with the sitemap. Okay, then do a HTTP via HTTP 2 and scrape all links. Then do HTTP requests to them to read the page. Let's say no browser plus screenshot. No browser plus screenshot. Real requests to scrape real docs and implement it accordingly. Do not make up stuff. Follow it 1-to-1 for the native features. There you go. Perfect. So now let's send this also to the ask mode. I'm not building stuff yet. I'm just trying to create the context in the conversation so we can then turn this into a plan that then will be implemented by the agent. So now this is what it's doing. This is how it should look. Web search site. And now it's, you see, that looks kind of cool. Look at this, like a Christmas tree, like sparkling. Very nice. Now it loads those pages. And as you can see, it seems to have issues scraping them. So let's see why this is having issues here. Maybe we need to go into different mode. Retrieve the sitemap output from HTTP request. Great. I found some actual Despia commands from the page. Let's see. No results found. So does it actually work or does it just make stuff up? Exploring. Okay. No, it does. They're correct. It gets the correct ones. That's good. It needs to get it though from npm Despia read outperform requests. Okay, let's see if it gets the correct one. Send local push. Yeah, Despia RevenueCat. This looks good. Contact access. Now it scrapes this. Very nice. I'm optimistic about this. I'm very optimistic about this. This looks good. So it says no results found, but it seems to actually scrape it successfully. So yeah, because they are all correct. Await Despia. Yeah, that looks all fine. Yeah, push notification, clipboard. That's correct. That's 100% correct. File sharing, that's correct. Paywalls, that's correct. That's correct. The problem, the web links are not giving me the complete actual documentation content for searches like, okay, let's do following. Let's go into agent mode. You can scrape them, get the links via the command line in here, scrape them, and get the docs. Again, the Despia MCP will make this very simple, way simpler, so you don't have to manually make sure that it's doing it correctly. But until then, we have to do it like this. But this will work. If it just calls them with the network requests, we should be able to get this. Yeah, you will see like it scrapes the entire page native features, so it now gets the context from those pages. Again, the MCP will make it way simpler. And there will be an MCP and an API and a web URL that it can call to set this up. And there will be a VS Code extension. So we're really doubling into providing first-class environments for Despia for professional IDEs and AI-assisted development tools. Again, this video is focused about Konsta UI, but I also want to add native features into it. So for now, there's a little bit of a workaround to get it working, but we will fix it and we'll make it better, way better. And I'll make a video about how simple it is to add the MCP into Cursor to just have it set up just like this without any process involved. And it will always make sure it's set up correctly. Also for the icons, I do wish if we could take the actual icons. So let's see, it's now planning the next moves. This will probably take a little bit because now it's probably already implementing it without a plan, or it's creating its own plan. So we'll just wait a little bit. So now Cursor is done with it. Now, I absolutely hate the emojis. This looks so cheap. So let's tell it following. Make sure to use Framework 7 icons only and only use the correct ones. And then I'm going to say also make sure the demo page is the home page. And then we're going to send this, and then it's going to set this up. Now, this will probably take a little bit. It's planning the next moves, so it's probably scraping some stuff. And yeah, we should be fine on that. And then we're going to see if this will work. Save to camera roll, screenshot capture, local push notifications, background location, start tracking, stop tracking. So we got those interfaces beautifully set up inside of here. So we'll see what's going on. And yeah, we'll see if it can correctly import the correct ones. Now, it doesn't look too good yet in the console because it kind of looks like it will have some errors importing the correct ones, but we'll see. Maybe there's some manual URL we have to paste in there so it uses the correct ones. And absolutely worst case, we have to use Ionic icons from the enemy. Ionic. I'm just joking. I use Ionic icons on the Despia dashboard, so they're not too much of an enemy. It's just they have a different solution for different people, for different use cases. And that is completely fine. You need competition in the market, otherwise nobody's going to do interesting stuff anymore, right? So let's see, it's going to create those files. I assume the icons look good. So ooh, what happened? Ooh, you see this? Let's save this. But what's going on here? Why is this over there? You see this as well? Okay. What? I don't think this is supposed to happen. Okay. Okay, I think that did the trick. That did the trick. Let's look at the console. It seems like there are still some issues with the icons. So let's copy this. I'm going to stop the agent here because when it starts making a screenshot, it tends to then start a loop and it just doesn't really know how to get out of it. It needs to get the correct icons. So let's see. Because, it may not be loading the correct ones, and then the entire application can fail loading because one package isn't imported successfully. So I see the issue many
I use don't exist. Let me update the file to only use that confirmed to work in other pages.
Okay, that seems reasonable. So we'll try this approach. We'll do the paywall. We don't have a premium plan, but I didn't fully get that we only have the default paywall, not paywall. But I think we're fine with that. Now it's really powerful what you can do with those AI IDEs. I think this is probably the end of NoCode, of those visual development tools, because it's so powerful. You also have visual editing in here, visual capabilities, and there's so many plugins you can install to make this even easier. So I think it's game over for them. Let's see. It's now looking at the files, because local development has been getting really accessible and really easy, really fast. So let's look at this, and beautiful. Look at that. We got it set up. Now, we can do better icons, but I think we're fine with this. It has this beautiful liquid glass style UI. I want to do one thing, though. I want this menu bar here to be the liquid glass style. Let's stop that thing. Okay. Now I'm going to select this bar here, and look how cool this is. And now I can say, make this be liquid, make this the menu tab bar that we have on the kitchen sink page under, and I'm going to look at the kitchen sink page to get the correct one. So if I'm going to go back to Konsta here, and I'm going to go on the kitchen sink, we had a menu bar. Menu list, no, that wasn't it. We had a navigation bar. No, that's the wrong one. We had a menu nav bar. Where was it? Sub nav bar? No, it was a tab bar. Yes, it was the tab bar. The tab bar page. This one here. So let's go into cursor. Let's say under tab bar. And put that in here. Make the menu bar that we have on, make this the menu bar that the menu tab bar, okay, that we have in the kitchen sink. So I wanted to use the correct one. And then we have this nicely set up here. Oh, we can just close that. And where did our files go? Okay, let's open the browser here. Fantastic. And we can do this a little bit smaller so we kind of like get the mobile interface a little bit better. And now I want this. Look at this. Now we have the liquid glove. Ooh, look at this. Now it doesn't really have the liquid glass vibe to it like the other one, right? Can we double check the other one? Oh, it doesn't. Oh, maybe not on the browser, because it does have it if you do touch. I don't think they do have it on, I don't think if let's see if I'm inspecting this element, which is just an iframe, right? So let's open this link here from the iframe. For this one here. I'm just going to open this one. Okay, and I'm looking at the tab bar. Now, because I'm touching, you see the liquid glass vibe, right? So it's only for touch events, it's not for click events. But that's fine, we do have the support for it now. So we do have this beautiful liquid glass bar. Okay, we can stop it from planning next moves because we're done. Let's make it all dark mode and use the yellow accent color. That's my favorite theme. And then we will just wait till it's set up. But it's stunning. I like the UI. It looks really native. Looks beautiful. Now for this, we can use the nav bar to make it even like with this progressive blur kind of thing. I highly suggest Clone the Kitchen Sink. It's going to be such a great boilerplate for building web native themes here. But look at this. Wow. Stunning. Isn't this beautiful? Look at this liquid glass vibe. Isn't this amazing?
Then takes a screenshot of the page so it can feed the reference map, but like, just
look at this. Just look at it. And then we have like this debugging page here with all the commands that it triggers. It's kind of like a universal page for Despia platform functionality testing. I do want another thing though. If we go back here, I want this to have this top bar as I scroll down, right? So where do we have that? It's the nav bar, right? Yeah, it's the transparent one. So I want this nav bar, the native nav bar here. The one is fixed area on the screen that contains a page title. So let's say I want the nav bar from the kitchen sink that as I scroll down has the change. Do you know what I mean? Now, because this is a very vague question, I'm going to go into ask mode here to enhance the context that we are working with. So let's go into ask mode here. I'm going to just send that question to it. There you go. Because when you have vague stuff, that just look at this. How liquid glassy is this? Like, isn't that cool? And then if I would open this localhost page actually in localhost and open this in a touch target where I can just emulate touch, just look at this. Liquid glass going on here. Like, look at this. Like, who. That's kind of funky because I'm doing it in a browser, but it's getting smoother there. And also my computer is at its capacity, but just like, and if I click on here, you see kind of like how it goes to the side. And if I click on here, how it kind of like goes to the other side. When I click on here, it kind of like goes a little bit up. Like, what? Like, what? Like, look at this. Isn't this amazing? The liquid glass vibe going on here. Like, what? Like, I could do this for hours. It's beautiful. It's stunning. Okay, let's go back to cursor. Let's see what it said. Yes, needs a transparent prop. Fantastic. Let's now go and create a plan. Create a plan to add this, please. Okay. I do think if you're building a mobile application first, but you want to use web technology, there's nothing better than using Cursor, Konsta, Framework 7, and then you can use Despia to make the whole thing even easier with native functionalities, one-click deployment. Minimum functionality requirements are already met because you have access to all those beautiful native integrations very easily. So that's probably the simplest way to build a mobile application nowadays. And you have full cross-platform support. It'll look great on Android. It'll look great on iOS. You even have the native theming for it. And then it also looks great on the web, right? And then you can adjust the web based on if they're on an Apple device or not. And, you know, also looks great on iPad. So pretty cool stuff going on here. Look at that. Like, I do like the theme and it gets some nice touch going on here. So let's take a look at the plan that it generated here. Fantastic. Much space here. So it's now adding the transparent property. Let's build this plan. And now we'll wait a little bit till this is all successfully implemented. So if you are sick and tired of every application always looking the same, like a cheap ChatCN UI clone, you can't get more professional than ripping off Apple's UI. So this is one-to-one here. You know? So beautiful. Now it adds the property. So it should be done. Let's look at that. Huh? Not yet? Let's see, the change is complete. Let's try reloading it. Maybe we need to reload it. It has the property at the bottom. It has this progressive blur, which is nice. But let's select this element here. Let's say this menu bar does not seem to have it yet. Right? So we want it with the menu bar. It did add it though at the bottom. You see like this progressive blur down here, like the native iOS system. We do need to add those some safe areas to it. Otherwise it just cuts off half of the, stuff. But so far so good. It's beautiful. In the meantime, while it's breaking stuff or fixing it, we'll see what it actually will be doing. And now I can't scroll. Okay, but while it's doing that, let's look at Framework 7 icons. And I need an icon list for it. So Framework 7, cheat sheet. Okay, so now I'm going to do following. I'm just going to copy all of them. And I'm just going to dump it into the chat. Wouldn't suggest doing that, but let's go into cursor. Let's say, use these Framework 7 icons. And then I'm going to paste them. And now we have a lot. And I'm going to go into agent, actually. I just have the agent implemented directly. Oh, now look at this. Look at this page. Look, you see how it now has or it starts implementing it with this here. So it's working on it. I think we're making great progress here. Tim Cook will be happy with this UI. We'll be passing the app review in no time. Look at that. Like it can't get more native than this, Beat them with their own weapons. Let's look at that again. Let's open Dia. I do have a little page here. So let's see. Oh yeah, look at this. What? Look at this animation here. Stunning. What? Like you see like the progressive blur, how it kind of like slowly like blurs out the more you scroll. Then you have the liquid glass here. Like, what? Like, this is, oh, I didn't mean to click back. Didn't mean to click back. But this is incredible. Incredible, I have to say. Absolutely incredible. So, I'll try this again. Now it doesn't scroll anymore, because I think it's still editing some stuff here. It's planning the next steps. So, checking the home page, how the scroll behavior works. Okay, we also want the progressive blur out down here. So let's try reloading and seeing. Yeah, we still have that. So we have this now up and down. So I think we're good. And my computer's just a little bit slow in displaying that because I'm doing heavy intensive tasks for building this all locally and then recording my screen in 4K. And my computer, if I hold on there, it's as hot as a frying pan. So I do apologize for that, but it's about the results. It's about the results. It then also emulates some browser behavior. Like, look at this. It does like browser testing. Like, cursor is insane. Like, you would not be able to get this UI going in any web-based tool. I'll guarantee that to you. You won't be able to. Impossible. But with cursor, so simple setting it up. So really, really powerful tool, I have to say. Really powerful. Very positively impressed by it. So it's still working on making it stunning. So we'll make a cut and we'll take a look at how it looks, how it works once it's done. So now it is done. So let's send the big thing with the icons to it. Now this will take a little bit. So I'm already going to make another cut here because this will take forever to get the icons sorted out. So now, as you can see, the icons are beautifully updated here. So now let's get to work. Let's say add enough space at the bottom for the content to be balanced out as the menu bar, tab bar takes some space and currently cuts off some content, right? And then I'm going to say also divide the features into 4 categories / 4 pages that can be opened by the tab bar. Also, when you get native data, show the response in a native dialog, and also use native sheets, etc. For the dialog and sheets, take the ones from the kitchen sink, right? That the kitchen sink is always our main reference for beautiful UI. Now for this one, I'm going into the plan mode because I wanted to create a bulletproof plan. There you go. And now it's going to implement this so we have a beautiful single page application with the Framework 7 routing and all that kind of stuff set up. So that's going to be fun. So now, as you can see, it's reviewing the current state and available components to plan the changes from the kitchen sink. And then once we got the kitchen sink all figured out, it's going to then make the changes. And then we're going to have this beautiful setup here. So I'm very excited for that. So now it's creating the plan. We can take a look at the plan as it's being generated and created by Cursor. It's going to then already implement the native Despia safe areas. How amazing is that? And yeah, this is amazing. And then this is probably going to be the second last prompt. There's probably going to be a last prompt to touch everything up once it runs in the native engine. And then we'll deploy this to GitHub, and then through Netlify, we'll get it into Despia, and then we'll test the application on our device. I'm excited for it. So let's wait till the plan is done here, and then we'll start implementing the plan with the help of our AI agent. So now we're going to set this all up. Files to modify, files to reference. Beautiful. This looks good. Let's build the plan. And now our agent is starting building the plan here. You see that things it added to the to-do list here that needs to be executed. And now it's planning the moves, and it's starting to read the files and set everything up accordingly. And then if we want to fine-tune some stuff, as you can see, we can always say, hey, change this icon, and this, and this, and this, and this. So we can really just like select the elements that we want to be changed. Like, how cool is that? Like, it changes the A tags here. We can change those elements here accordingly and say, I want this to look like this and this. So you do have some granular control in here, as you can see. So it's pretty cool what you can do with this. So let's exit this, and then we can obviously take a look at the console, what's going on in here as it's building it. And then we have a screenshot, hard reload, and all that kind of stuff. But I think we're fine with that. So really nice process, and it's just getting even easier from here once we have the Despia MCP available, which will be very, very soon. We're working day and night on it. But let's just let this load. This will take a little bit building the entire plan, and then we'll check this out. So it just finished it, and it actually looks really good. Take a look at that. Beautiful. Now, those last two ones, their names are quite long, but I'll just let it slide for now. Actually, no, it goes over there. So let's say make the menu names shorter. Okay, I'm going to just send this to the agent. It should fix this like in a minute. It should be a quick fix. It should be shorter, like especially communication and media and location. But now in the meantime, we need to get this deployed somewhere, right? So the easiest way to deploy this will be Netlify. So let's go to Netlify. Okay. And I'm just going to go to netlify.com. Let's log into our Netlify account or create one. And we're just going to deploy the application to Netlify here. So now, first of all, we need GitHub. So let's go to GitHub. And you can just create a GitHub account. It's 100% free. And I am just going to switch to the Despia account here for GitHub. Perfect. And now, once I have this all set up here, which is pretty simple, I am just going to go to Cursor. And now they are shortened, looking really good. And you see we got like those beautiful alerts here. How nice is that? Perfect. And we got some of the drawers also implemented. Look at that. Beautiful. Looks nice, looks native, looks great. So now we'll see if this native functionality actually works. And we need to deploy it. So let's say deploy it to GitHub. Okay, just going to say deploy it to GitHub. Fantastic. Okay. And now it's setting up the integration with GitHub for our application. Now this will take a little bit. We will need to get a code that we will then put on a link in GitHub, but it'll walk us through that. Should be very straightforward because we can't copy localhost and put it into Despia. That won't work. It won't work well. So as you can see, it's now installing all the dependencies and setting everything up so it's correct. Now, as you can see, it's running Homebrew. And for the first time when you deploy this, you may need to get some scripts installed. So you can just ask Cursor, make sure everything I need to deploy and build this app is installed. If not, install it, and then just always allow it to do what it needs to install, right? But now we, repository, it seems like it already pushed it. That's interesting. So let's see. Is it already on there? That was maybe because I already have it connected. That could be unintentional. But it's you see how easy it is? You see how easy it is nowadays to do those kinds of things? It's just going easier. But like, look at this. How cool is that? Biometric verification requested. Like, it looks nice. Let's allow to run this, and let's allow to run this here. Okay, plan next moves. Yes, it's already on GitHub. It's already, oh my God, it's already deployed. That was easy. So I can't sadly show you how to get it on GitHub because it already is on GitHub by just asking it to put it on there. That's incredible. Yeah, look at that. Konsta framework demo. It's already on here. This is ridiculously insane. Like, look how easy AI is now. Everybody can do it. But you would then tell it integrate with GitHub, and then you would create your personal access token and just follow the instructions. But it's already integrated, so I sadly can't show you how to do it, but it's so simple. You just ask it integrate with GitHub. It'll say click on this link and then enter this code in here, and then it has already access. It's so simple. So simple you can't even make a video about it because it's already done. So now we need to connect this with Netlify. And we do this only one time. So now we go in here into our Netlify account. We'll go to projects. We'll create a new project, import an existing project. We'll select GitHub here. And then on GitHub, we're going to link this with our GitHub account. So I'm going to go and continue on my GitHub account. I'm going to authorize Netlify. And now you see it's authorized. Let's go and continue on my GitHub account here. Let's install the Netlify app. And now I need to put my password in there. I don't know my password. Let me just figure that out. And I got my password. So now we'll take a look at this Konsta Framework 7 Despia demo, this project here. So let's select this. It's the Despia team. We'll take the main branch, and then we are going to deploy Konsta Framework 7 Despia demo. And now this will link everything and sync everything. Now the first deployment is in progress. This can take a little bit. We can then add a custom domain to it, or we can use the Netlify domain if we're not too concerned about branding it, even though I would always suggest use a custom domain. But now we just deployed this, and it's so simple. It's so simple nowadays. We deployed the entire application to Netlify. So now we can copy this link here from Netlify, right? And we can go into Despia. Being a developer, it's so simple. Everybody can do it nowadays with Cursor, with all those tools. Deploying on Netlify years ago was way harder. Like even 3 years ago, it was way harder than it is right now. So they are optimizing for non-technical people. So to update this now, I'm going to go into Despia, dynamic app source, paste my web application URL in there. The nice thing with Despia is it syncs it. You have updates over the air, meaning you change something in Cursor, it updates it immediately on your Despia mobile application. Now we can go on Publish App. We select Apple iOS. And now let me publish this to the App Store. There you go. That's how simple it is. Now it's building the application. You do not need to have a physical Apple computer like you would do if you're using Capacitor in, Cursor or something. Despia provides the entire Mac resources for you. So now it's building your application on an Apple M2 powered by Apple Silicon, and it sets it all up for you. So it's really convenient. And if you take a look at the Despia website, you can see turn your web apps into mobile apps. You can add native functionalities like we did in this video. You have one-click publishing. It's super simple. With Despia, it's a one-time payment. All plugins are free. You don't have to pay thousands of dollars for plugins and $10,000 to add RevenueCat, like a competitor, which I'm legally not allowed to mention, but it starts with the capital letter M. You can assume which one it is, but with Despia, you get all this amazing stuff. And then if you're wondering why you should spend money on Despia, with Despia, you can build and update iOS and Android applications without ever touching Xcode or Android Studio. We run the entire compute infrastructure for you. You just press a button, it builds the app, it's done. As easy as you saw inside of here. And then if you need some help, we do have CI/CD experts helping you free of charge to debug your applications. You get updates for life, security updates, new features all the time. It's a one-time purchase, and you get access to your application. So it's a one-time license you purchase per application, and then that application is covered for lifetime updates and all that kind of stuff. And then you get 200 build minutes, which will last you for like 10, 15 years, a long time. And then you can purchase them for like $40 or so per minute, which is rather cheap. Is a 5x markup on what we pay CodeMagic, though. I want to mention that, but it's rather cheap for the industry. There are other tools they charge you $50 per build, which is way more. It's like $10 a minute. But there you go. So you got a good deal. Let's go back here into Netlify. Everything is deployed. In Despia, it's still loading. This will take a little bit. It makes this process super simple. If you want to have videos on how to build this in detail, we do have videos about that. Don't get discouraged because some of them show lovable. More videos for Cursor are coming. Because we want to position Despia now as a professional tool, not just like you can start as unprofessional as you want, but you can always graduate to professional tooling. You're not locked in with Despia, and you can always export your code, get the Xcode project, the Android Studio project, and open it in Xcode if you want to, but you don't need to. That's the nice thing. And then we're going to have an integration with GitHub and Netlify, so you can always sync your code, do code push, or we can't call it code push for legal reasons, but it will be like code push, even for the offline version of your application. And then the online version is always remotely available. But the offline screen, that's where we're doing a big revamp, because right now you just have like a static HTML file, which is boring. We're going to let you sync your Netlify account and your Vercel account and all of the other hosting accounts with Despia. And then we're going to deploy a cloud function for you that will always show the latest build zip folder of your application. It will zip it for you. Despia will do that. You will host it yourself. And then every time the app makes an update, it will load this zip folder, and it will then, when it's offline, show the latest version of the zip folder, exactly how code push works, or some of those other mechanisms for over-the-air updates. And the nice thing is, this lets you do over-the-air updates even for the statically, locally bundled in version. So you can create a new bundle that will then download it to the native device file system, and then you can have the offline screen updated remotely while the device is online in the background. And then when it is not online, it'll just fall back to the latest downloaded version, which is quite genius. So we're adding that integration. It's a big revamp that's happening with the Despia framework. Now, I do think I have too many tabs open and my MacBook Air is starting to get fried here. So how about we make a cut and we'll take a look at how it looks once it's done. So as you can see, the application was now successfully deployed. They have it on test flight here. Let's open it. It's a real native application, as you can see, not a PWA. We can ship it to the store in just one more click. And as you can see, now we do have this liquid glass effect here when we are switching tabs. How cool is that? So let's try some native features. Let's try launching the paywall. As you can see, I'm doing the native RevenueCat Paywall, and I can do a native in-app purchase in this application built inside of Cursor. Look at this. And I got that. Now I don't have the password yet, so I think I've got to close that. But look at this. We got those beautiful alerts here. Now I can get the device UUID. I just got that ID. Look at this. I can get the device version. Got that. I have this beautiful drawer here for haptic feedback. And look at that. I'm getting the haptic feedback inside of here very nicely. And I can get the device ID. I can see the platform that we're on. I'm getting real native functionalities. Now it wants to get access to my Face ID. So let's allow that. As you can see, it now scans the face. And as you can see, the Face ID was successful. I got the native sharing dialog here. And I do have the native file sharing dialog where I can download a file and share that file here. Look at that. I can then read the clipboard data. Now it wants to get access to read the native clipboard data, so allow paste. And now it's reading the native clipboard data, what I have copied here. I can also request native contact access. Let's go and continue. Select specific context. Let's take Apple and John Doe. Let's go and continue. Allow selected contacts. And now as you can see, it should be reading the contacts. Now, it doesn't seem to do it that successfully. Maybe there is an implementation issue. We can debug that. So let's look into that later. Now, because it needs to call them manually to invoke it, I think it probably forgot that. But what we can do is we can send a local push notification. Now, it will be scheduled to be pushed in 5 seconds. We can track the backward location. We can capture a screenshot here, get access to the native camera feature. So it's pretty cool. As you can see, I did receive a local push notification here. I can click on it, open the application. Now, there are a few things we need to fix, and I want to show you how you deploy updates with this. So first of all is the save area of the menu bar here. Let's go on close. Okay, let's say the menu bar needs to also be adjusted to be a bit more up based on the Despia bottom save area. And also the contacts do not work. Follow these docs here, okay? And now I'm going to paste the Despia documentation. Now, it did get 80% to 90% of all implementations correctly first shot. Now, there's always going to be a little bit that it can't manually do. So I'm going to go into the Despia NPM documentation. I'm going to look for contact access. And in here, I have the AI prompt. I'm going to copy the entire AI prompt here. And I'm just going to paste this into Cursor. So it will make sure that it will work. Okay. Now, I'm also going to add the save area prompt just one more time to make sure it's all added correctly while I'm on it. So let's look for save area. There you go, full screen save area. And I'm going to copy this one inside of here. Perfect. So I got real native functionalities here running in my application. Now, is there any other cool one that we want to add? Maybe Siri shortcuts or contact access, we have that, local push, social share, let's see, quick actions, print documents. Let's add print documents in here. I think that'll be cool. Let's say also add print documents. So let's say you want to add a new feature. You can just copy this AI prompt here from the documentation. And let's say also add print document feature. And then you paste it. And then you go into the plan mode, so it creates a plan. So it's a little bit more structured what's happening here, because we do want some structure to the output that this AI is generating. Now, this should resolve the safe area concerns. It should resolve some of the other concerns with the features. But then we have this beautiful implementation going on here as a web native application. It's super simple to set up. It's already on the App Store as a draft, as you can see here. So the deployment is super simple, one-click deployment. We don't have to deal with Xcode and signing certificate errors and all that kind of stuff. We can now take a look at the plan that it generates here. And in less than 2 hours, like a little bit more than 1 hour, we built a fully native application here with true native functionalities. We didn't have to run the CLI to import some build tools, open Xcode and Android Studio and make sure cross-platform support works, rely on community plugins that haven't been maintained for 10 years. You get it all nicely here with Despia in a fully hosted solution for you, but you still have full access to the source code. Everything runs client-side, so you always are protected when it comes to that. So now we have this beautiful plan implemented here. Let's click on build the plan, and now it will build and implement the plan, which will take a little bit, so we'll make it cut, and we'll take a look at how this looks once it's done. So now, as you can see, it implemented the plan. So now let's say deploy it to GitHub main. Now you should have a better branching system than just pushing to the main directly. You should have a testing system, and you should write deploy correctly with a Y, not a T. But you'll get the idea. We're skipping some critical parts in this video for the sake of convenience. Why is this error happening again? Let's try opening the browser. Close that one. Okay, that looks good. And now we're back in the game. Okay, beautiful. Let's try reloading this. Now, why are we getting a white page here? That should not happen. So it doesn't open the console. So we need to check localhost actually on our computer probably to make sure that everything is going correct. Let's paste that in here. Yeah, it does work. Perfect. So we got pay, we got file sharing, print document. Yeah, we have that. Also nicely set up. So we do have this nicely set up here. I also want to have some page transitions, but let's say it now did the deployment. Perfect. Let's say also add framework 7 page transitions, because that's kind of like makes it feel the next level. Transition. Perfect. Also add framework 7 page transitions. Now, while it's deploying or building the page transitions, we can take a look at the deployment on Netlify. So if we reload here, Netlify the page, we should see our new deployment. As you can see, we just made this change here in GitHub. Now it's also already deployed on Netlify. So if we take a look at the hosted version of our application, we now have the updates here with the print document, right? And now if I go into Despia here, on my Despia application, because it was deployed to the web now, I can close the app and open it again. That's the nice thing about updates over the air, right? And normally with Capacitor, you would have to use something like Capgo and subscribe to that and pay for monthly active users, where here you get the beautiful convenience of just hosting it on Netlify and owning that. Now, as you can see, the safe area is implemented. We still have the Despia watermark because that's just what Despia does if you have not subscribe to a paid license. But if you now go in here, we have the print item functionality, which then should, in theory, print the item. I don't know if the URL that it's trying to print is successful. So that may be why it's failing, because it just made up a URL and left it empty. But it should work. It should have the functionality. Let's double check also on that. Now, we did change the transitions. Before we do that, though, I want to check the transitions. And it seems like that this browser doesn't work too well. Build it locally. Let's build it locally first, and then we can probably deploy it and preview it in here. Maybe there's the local deployment missing. So let's deploy it locally so we can test it in here and see if the changes are made accordingly. But then also what we need to do is we need to make sure that the print functionality is working, because that should be working, right? So it needs to print a valid URL because it has to download it for it to be printed. So let's look for example PDF. There's so many of them. Just copy that one. Fabulous. Now we can go into cursor and we can actually look for print item. Print item. Let's go in here. Print title URL. Maybe this URL has some problems. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to swap the URL with the one that I know will work, and then it does job name, print item. Let's keep this. So now I just updated the print item thing. Yeah, now we have this new one here. So let's keep this and let's save this. Okay. Preview next file, keep. Yeah, let's keep all. Go back into here. Now we build it locally. For some reason, we're having troubles opening this, but it does work in the browser. So we'll just preview this in the browser here. We still don't have page transitions. So it seemed like it didn't work. We still do not have page transitions for the menu tab bar clicks. Okay, let's add that into here. So to make sure that we actually have them set up and configured, but then we just need to make sure that those changes are deployed correctly. And now we change the URL in this code here, which you can also ask the AI to do, but it's rather simple. It's just changing this value in those quotes here. Let's make sure that we have those transitions going on. Interesting. Yeah, it doesn't load in here. Maybe there is some issue happening with a local build, but we'll see what's going on. We'll get to the bottom of this. But so far, the application, I'm very, very happy with the liquid glass feel of it. Very nice, I have to say. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, so now let's say build it locally and open local host. Okay, and then just close all that stuff here. So we can just try it because it seems to have some issues with it building and then deploying it for some reason. But I'm very happy with the UI. It does look like one-to-one, like Apple, literally. Like, just look at this. Isn't this amazing? And then you have those beautiful alerts going on here. You can copy and you can do that. And actually now the contact access was fixed. Look at this. Now I clicked on access contacts, and now as you can see, it did fix it. Retrieve 2 contacts, unnamed contact and John Doe. That is correct. We can copy this, and then we can go to read native data. Not copy to clipboard, no. Native clipboard read only. Yeah, and then you see what I copied in here because I copied the response, and now you see that I'm reading the clipboard, which is pretty cool. So you have access to those native features. You're not using the web clipboard copy. You're actually using the native one with Despia, and then you have liquid glass elements in your application, and you have the native Apple interface, and hopefully soon we'll have page transitions. So let's see, the deployment server is now open. Let's see if it is, how open it is. Not Netlify, we're going to try Localhost. So, ooh, that's a funky animation here, but I do like it. Snappy one. Look at that. Interesting. I would prefer a more subtle one. So let's go back to framework 7 here, and let's just pick a slightly more professional one. So let's go here to not iOS theme, no. Let's go to in here all the way down to page transitions. And I think we should do
No, parallax is not a good one. Let's try cover, no, that one. Circle, terrible one. Cover V, no.
Fade. Yeah, let's do F7 fade. Okay, let's say I want all transitions to use F7 fade. That's the one that I want to use from Framework 7. I found it on the documentation. I do like it. So now we're just going to wait till this is all set up correctly, which should be pretty simple. It's just replacing a value ultimately. And then we will also try if the print thing is working. It should work. Maybe we need to fix something on Despia, but I don't assume we should because we did deploy it. Maybe, I don't know, maybe we're on the wrong branch or we undeployed something. Shouldn't happen though. But I know we did just add print support for Android, so maybe something was overlooked, which shouldn't happen, but we need to investigate this. Okay, now it applied the changes. Let's try localhost again. Let's go back into this project here on localhost. Okay. Now, interesting. So let's go out of this here.
Oh no, it does work nice with the
fade. Yeah, it does look nice. I think it's just because my computer is getting hot again. Let's say deploy to GitHub, and I can't emphasize enough, you should have a staging environment, don't push directly to production. But if you do, it's still fine, so. Still fine. But there you go. Now it was deployed, so now if we take a look at Netlify here, we'll see that if we just reload the page or just refresh it one more time to see what's happening inside of here, right? It's now building this new deployment. So we're building the deployment, we're updating everything inside of here. Now it was deployed that fast, really. It's almost as fast as Lovable. Like you won't miss it at all. So let's now try closing this page here. And let's try opening this whole thing. It'll take a little bit because my phone is getting hot, my computer is getting hot, everything is getting hot and getting slow here. But let's take a look at that. There you go. Maybe I should upgrade. I'm still on iPhone 13. We'll see. Maybe I need to close this. Okay, now it opens. Perfect. Okay, now we have those nice minimal page transitions with the liquid glass. Now we can adjust them to our liking. Actually, I liked it more without the transitions, to be honest. But, it is what it is. And then when we scroll down here, the top bar doesn't actually inherit the safe area. So there are some things that we need to fix. Also, why can't we scroll inside of here? We shouldn't be able to scroll unless there's like super big padding. But that's fine. One thing I want to test is the print document. The print document doesn't seem to work. So I think that we at Despia screwed up very big, that for some reason the new versions don't include the print document SDK, which is a critical issue that is unacceptable. And I will need to put this on ClickUp because this should be fixed, because now everybody rebuilding their application, they're not going to have print document support, and that's terrible. That's very unreliable from us to do. So this shouldn't happen, and we need to fix this ASAP. So we'll look into that. But in the meantime, let's focus on getting this going here. Now, if we scroll up here, it doesn't correctly inherit the safe area, so it looks this ugly here, right? So the top bar transparency element needs to also implement the native top safe area for Despia. So let's say, very nice, but the native top bar, nav bar, when scrolled down / transparent, also needs to add extra Despia safe area, right? Also needs to add extra Despia safe area. Please do it. Okay, let's send that here. Okay, so now we're making the changes. In the meantime, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to see why the print item isn't working. So now looking at the Despia code inside of here, the print item is still there. It doesn't seem that there's any reason why it shouldn't work. We have the print item deep link registered here, and the example should look like this. So let's copy this in here. Let's go to cursor. Let's say, any idea why the print item does not work? It should work like this. Let's see. And let's go into ask mode. Maybe there's an implementation issue. Maybe we screwed up our documentation, or maybe it was the AI and we can blame the AI, but we'll see who we have to blame after the AI tells us what's going on here. It could be that maybe some dependencies changed and that now the way it's implemented will not work and we need to update that. And that's just the bug that I found that needs to be fixed, and I need to put this on ClickUp. We'll see what's going on here, but it seems like it's still there, it's still working, but we need to fix kind of like how this works. And you don't have to do this. This is something that we should do internally. Okay, the issue is the URL being encoded, but it should be passed as is. Only job name should be encoded. Okay. So yes, because the URL is being encoded, that's why I can't load it. Yes. This is it. So let's go in here, let's do an agent, let's say fix it. Okay. So now I know I have to update the documentation to include this. So this is very important. Let's go on hash node to fix the Despia documentation right now, or at least add an alert to it so this doesn't happen to people who try to use it. So where the heck is print item? There you go, print documents. Okay, I'm going to add that in here. I'm going to say job name, CDN URL. I'm going to add callout. Let's say make sure that the URL is not encoded. Only the job name needs to be encoded. But we should have a little bit better handling on the WebView side to make sure that this works. But make sure that the URL is not encoded, only the job name needs to be encoded. Okay, perfect. So now we updated our documentation here so this doesn't happen. And now when we copy this over, it'll be fixed. So sometimes you gotta fix stuff on the fly. There you go. But now let's go back into cursor here and we'll keep all the changes that it made. So let's say now please deploy it. And also if you're wondering, oh, I'm just showing you the Despia source code. I don't care, you're exporting it anyway. With Despia, you get full source code export. We have nothing to hide. There you go. We have app entitlements, custom JS, custom CSS, the shortcut manager, the shortcut JSON, the network Swift. We have a QR code scanner that I don't like the UI of, so, you know, it's not a feature yet. We need to fix the UI to make it look better first. It needs to have liquid glass and all the fancy stuff going on. But there you go. We have the in-time purchase helper function, all that kind of stuff. Lots of cool files. Health kit manager, that's coming soon. I did make some changes actually in there while I was already on there because I saw some typos in the comments. But we have health kit manager coming soon. Right now, we just need to make it more streamlined so you can actually request multiple of them at the same time. But I'm digressing. Let's just leave this as is, okay? And now we're back on my other GitHub, and now we can go back to cursor. Okay, so now it's deploying it. We can now go back into the Netlify one here. And now we have this published. Fantastic. So let's see if the safe areas and all that kind of stuff is now fixed. Let's close this. Open the native application again, made with Despia. Fantastic. Transitions are nice. Okay, let's do the print document. Still doesn't work. Still doesn't work. Still broken. We did screw up on that one, actually. So it's very interesting why this doesn't work. Did it update the files? It should have updated the files. But when we scroll down, now the safe areas are correctly, like, look at us. It's correctly
and nicely implemented in this Apple style with the progressive blur. Now the print document is really freaking me out here. So we need to look into this. Let's say the print document is still not working. It should, though. Look at their docs. Okay, now I'm going to just paste the docs. If this doesn't work, I do need to get this fixed ASAP. But let's look at this. Let's copy no, we need to refresh one more time. I added the disclaimer to the documentation. So we're just going to copy the documentation here. And we need to go back into Cursor and we'll paste this inside of here. And we'll see what's going on here with the print item. Why the print item isn't working. Because this should be fine. Print name, show dialog, print item, job name. Is it called print item? What did I paste this out of here? Yeah, no, it's called print item. Yeah, it's fine. We got the URL. It should open this. I don't know why it doesn't work. Nothing looks wrong to me here. So what did it change? Print item URL. The format looks correct, checking if we need to handle URLs differently or if there's an issue, special character implementation to match the documentation exactly, updated the print function to match the documentation, updated default values to match the docs example. Now we should take a real link. It will not work with a link that won't work. I think maybe we have a CDN issue. Let's go to sample PDF printing label. I've been on this website before, so I know this link should work for this example printing label. If it doesn't work, something changed with Despia that we need to urgently fix. So let's keep this, and keep this. Yes, and let's go in here because this is a fake link. Let's paste this one inside of here and let's keep. Okay, and keep. Okay, perfect. So let's say deploy now. Right? Also, there's a try catch in this one. Print dialog 4. So there's no error happening in this, so that's fine. So maybe it just is that the file has some course restrictions and it has issues opening it. I hope that is the problem, because otherwise I'm going to go crazy, because this should work. It worked a day ago. I don't hope that there's some critical change that needs to be fixed immediately here on our end. But if there is, we do need to do that. So let's open this file. And this file seems to work perfectly. So let's see. Let's take a look at Netlify. What's going on with Netlify? I just published a minute ago. So now let's try this out. A little bit anxious here. It should work. Print document opened. Yeah, it's not printing the item. But also, why is it still opening the old one? It's still trying to open the file that doesn't work. See that? That's not correct one, because the file doesn't exist, and also it's still encoding the file. So let's say it should print this document and do not encode it at all. Okay, and let's go in here. And let's stop that. Document this document, and then I'm going to paste this link inside of here. Okay, it should print this document and do not encode, but I think it's smart enough to understand what I mean. Because you see, we do have the updated URL and we did deploy it, but for some reason, the native application in here, right when I print it says, printing www Despia image logo PNG, right? So this is kind of like making a little bit suspicious about it. Why we get this specific error. But I think we're getting over obsessed about a little detail, but I do want to make sure that there's no issue on our side and this actually works. The URL is not encoded. Verification is not encoded. URL is not encoded. The implementation is correct. Make sure it is. Let's see. Just to double check, but it should work, but we'll see. Let's see what's going on. Job name encoded, file URL not encoded, verification confirms the URL is not encoded. Okay. Perfect. Let's say deploy to GitHub. Let's send that, deploy to GitHub. Okay. And let's see what's going on with this print document. Now, in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have added this in the video. This makes it look very unprofessional that it doesn't work, even though it should be working. But it is what it is, and we're going to fix it the moment this video is recorded and done. And then we'll see. Maybe we can get it working in this one. It's just an implementation feature. But we'll see. It is what it is, and we need to act on that quickly. So now it's building the application. It's already deployed. Now, maybe we need to wait a little bit. Maybe there's some caching happening. If it is some caching issue, I'm going to go nuts here. Let's click on here. Yeah, it seems to be calling the correct URL. If I copy this link and open it in the browser, it opens the correct print. So this is fine. So let's try opening the application now. And let's see. And just to double check, this is formemo.com. And let's open the app here. And as you can see, if I click on the print, it still has the new one, but it doesn't open the print dialog. Oh, it does. Oh, thank God. Hallelujah. It does work. Look at that. So I'm not going insane, and it's not a Despia issue. It's a me issue. I like those issues more than Despia issues. You see how reliable Despia is? Sometimes if it doesn't work, it's just me doing some stuff or it's AI. You can always blame someone. As long as it's not Despia, I don't care who you blame. And look how beautiful this native print functionality works. I can connect to a printer. Look at that. I can connect to the printer of my neighbor and I'll print 100 shipping copies. I can do all of that. How beautiful is it? I can even share it. I can share it, I can set it even as a ringtone. Look at that. How cool is that? Now, I know we don't have liquid glass for those yet, but there is a big revamp coming that this will also be liquid glass. I can adjust all of those settings with the native print dialog. How cool is that? I can do like 16 sheets or like I can do the sheets per page. And then I can go back in here and I can make multiple sheets. And then we can take a look at the sheet view, the page view. And look how cool that is. So now we have the native print functionality also working. So Despia always works. If it doesn't work, it's probably an implementation issue. There you go. And now you know how the code looks with Despia on GitHub. We also have our code on GitHub. And there you go. So it wasn't an issue with the WebView controller. It was just, I don't know, encoding issue. Don't encode your stuff in Despia. There you go. We need to add that to the documentation, though. But it did look, the thing is, in Cursor, it did look good on paper. It did look good. What I think is we had cross-origin issues loading the other URLs, right? And I think because we just found public URLs for free on the internet, that they do not allow loading from our application. So because this one probably doesn't have any course restrictions, or if you have your own ones hosted on your own CDN, you would whitelist your web application as a trusted source to download it, and then it will work. And now look how snappy and fast it is. I click on here, boom, native print dialog. I go on here, take a native screenshot of the page. I go on here, boom, send a push notification. Now in a couple of seconds, we'll get the native push notification
couple of seconds. Look at this. Just got a native push notification. This is a local push notification. We got the native sheets and all this beautiful UI. We can read the clipboard here. Let's close that. I can access the contacts and actually copy them and then read let's go in here. Let's copy those. Copy. And then let's see. Now it read the clipboard with the context that I copied. We can close this. I can share files. Now it downloads the file. It lets me share that into other apps or with people on my phone. And those are just like a couple of the native features that Despia supports, right? Let's close that. We can do Face ID, all that kind of stuff. Now you see it was successful. It updates the state in the application. We can detect the platform. We can get the app version, the app player ID. We can do haptic feedback, all that kind of stuff. And just look how snappy and quick this application feels and how smooth everything is. Beautiful experience, I have to say. Look at this. We got pay. We can launch a native RevenueCat Paywall. Just like this. We can do native in-app purchases with Apple Pay and StoreKit. Isn't this amazing? And then we got beautiful page animations and we have liquid glass support. Boom. And this is how you build a beautiful web-native mobile application using Despia and Konsta UI and Framework 7 and Cursor. Now, I want to make actually a whole video about this because it was actually a pleasant experience to work with. So I'll make a whole video about this, doing a full application with this setup, with this tech stack. We're going to use a backend connected with login and all that kind of stuff. So if you want to see that video, like, comment, share this video with other people. You know, I want to see your feedback. So I know it's worth making this video, but I think this is a beautiful setup. And Despia really makes the experience seamless in getting it into the store, getting native features. We maintain everything for you. We worry about all the stuff for you, like, is the print support working? Is it still working? Is it up to date? We'll do all of that for you. So if you like this one-click publishing convenience to get your application into the App Store and Google Play Store, and you just want a simple way that is still powerful, though, to get your application published, your hybrid application published, take a look at Despia. I think you'll really enjoy it. We give you one build for free that is worth $2.50. So you get $2.50 for free the moment you sign up per application that you create. We'll cover the cloud costs for you for your first build. And they're not significant because Apple computers are expensive to rent. But we'll spawn you with that so you can get your application on your phone, test how beautiful it is, and then when you like it, you may purchase a license or go somewhere else if you don't like it. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time and see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.